think it's much more easier to believe that you can do anything you put your mind to, especially because there are so many evidences to prove that there are people who went from nothing to something, no matter your background, no matter your color, no matter your accent, no matter your country, no matter the continent you're coming from. It's much more easier for us to believe and for people to motivate us that you can do it. But the problem is how. Only few people are talking about how. How do you go about chasing your dream? And the fact that we have to chase the dream and not the dream coming to us it's annoying. I mean, it's not as easy as just going to bed and sleeping and waking up and realizing that everything you dreamed of it's real. It just magically appeared. So you have to kind of chase it to get it, put effort and trials and errors and so many years and sweat more than tears and blood and everything to get to your dream. But we've come to accept that fact. We've come to accept the fact that we have to chase the dream. But the problem is how. How do you go about chasing your dreams? How do you go about becoming the best? For example, let's say you want to become the best guitarist in the whole world. You want to become the number one, like Tim Henson, one of the top players of guitar that we have right now. I've been watching a lot of his videos on YouTube, and my God, the way he plays guitar is so amazing. Okay, but let's just say that your dream is to become one of the top players of guitar in the whole world. And everybody said, you can do it. You're not lacking motivation. You go to Facebook, you go to social media, you go to your friends, your parents, everybody, you can do it. I believe in you, you can do it. Just put in effort and you can do it. Yes, of course, now you are motivated, I can do it. Okay, but how? How do I do it? Okay, common sense says first thing you need to get is a guitar if you don't have one. Okay, I need to get a guitar. But then again, you don't have money for the guitar. You're coming from a very poor background, and even having the guitar itself is like a big dream already. Like having the guitar itself is like a big. I know. I remember when having this was such a big dream. It's like something that I have to climb the mountain to get. But now it's within my reach. I can hold it. I can play it whenever I want. So let's say you're coming from a very poor background that you can barely eat 3 square meal a day, but you want to get a guitar and you want to become the top guitar player in the world. And your first step or your first what you think common sense you should do is to get a guitar first. But the problem to the first step, now there's a problem to the first step, and you are there figuring this out yourself because everybody had just said you can do it, I believe in you can do it, and then that's all they just left, leaving you alone to do it yourself. So the first step is to get a guitar, but you don't have the money to buy the guitar. Now, getting the guitar is no longer the first step. The first step is getting the money to get the guitar. Now we are going backwards. So getting the money is now the first step. But then how do you get a money if you don't have a job, if you don't have anything you're selling, you don't have a skill to sell, you don't have a product to sell in exchange for money, and you don't have a job yet? So how do you get the money? You go get a job. So getting the money is no longer the first step. The first step now is to get a job. And then you have to go out and find a job. And not just getting a job, you have to get a job that would allow you to save a bit every month after all the expenses, will allow you to save at least much more that maybe in the next 3 months or 6 months you'll be able to afford to buy a second-hand beat up, used up guitar that you can at least practice with for a start. Now we've gone from getting a guitar to all the way back to getting a job. And it's not even getting a job, but finding a job. And not just finding a job, but finding a job that after the expenses of the month, the feeding and the transport and everything, that you can still be able to save up at least a little bit, 1%, towards the goal of finally getting a guitar. So we've gone from my dream is to be the best player of guitar or one of the top players of guitar in the world to my dream is now to get a guitar, and you are sitting there figuring this out yourself, like nobody's lending a hand, nobody's telling you how, you don't even know how. By the time you sit down and think through all the steps you have to go to finally be able to get, not just get a guitar, but be the top player, you're thinking that maybe this life is not for me. Maybe this dream is not for me. Maybe it's too big for me. Maybe I'm dreaming too big. Maybe it's just not for me. And that's how the dream dies. Now, let's take another scenario. If you've already had a guitar, like and do right now, and all you want to do is just to become the best guitar. I mean, you have the guitar now. What's left for you is to know how to play it over and over again, master the techniques, the skills, the picking, the strumming, playing different songs with it, the chords, and the music theory and everything to get to the top, to be one of the top. Like, put in so much effort. Yes, okay, now the first step, you've gotten the guitar. Second step, how do you play the guitar? That's simple. In a basic level, it's simple. All you have to do is go to YouTube and start search for videos on how to play guitar and start watching them and practicing. But then you find that when you go to YouTube, there are tons, like there are thousands and millions. If not, there should be millions. There'll be millions of tutorials on how to play guitar, and many of them are not for beginners. And it's so confusing. You see music theory, you see chord progression, you see strumming, you see circle of the fifths, you see there are so many tutorials, and you're there looking at, wait, where should I start? And maybe you probably find some beginner. I've seen some beginner tutorials on YouTube, and like back then when I saw the tutorials for beginners, I started questioning myself if I was truly a beginner, or maybe there's another level that is below beginner, because the beginner level tutorials I was seeing, I could not. I mean, I was still barely able to hold my guitar or even to strum with my hands or my pick. Talk more of doing this chord thing and the bare chords and music theory and the cycle of the fifth scale. Like, it was too much. And then when you let yourself get into all of those things that you need to learn, and you just, maybe this is not for me. And this applies to many other dreams that we have. It's not that we don't have the motivation. Like, the motivations are countless. There are unlimited motivations to chase your dreams. They are on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and people, and even on the news about people who went from nothing to something. But what very few people are talking about is the how. How do you go about, like, what's the first step you should take? Something that, what is the plan? Something that you can start doing as the next day. Like, you made this plan today, tomorrow you can pick up your guitar and maybe, okay, my first step is to just strum the guitar, learn how to just strum. Or maybe if you have a pick, just learn how to strum with a pick. Or if you're strumming with your fingers, learn how to the how to place your fingers, how to strum with your fingers and all of that, before you move on to maybe scales and chords and things like that. There are step by step to this if you are still a beginner. But if you don't know that, you skip from one advanced tutorial to one intermediate tutorial to beginner, and before you know it, you're like, this life is not for me. Unfortunately, even I do not know. I don't know the answer to what's the first step to figuring out your dreams. You have your different dreams that could be very, like, miles different from what I'm doing. But what I found helpful in my journey as I'm playing guitar and learning music, songwriting, and everything is, there's this book I recently downloaded the PDF and I've been reading recently. It's Wishcraft. Wishcraft by Barbara Sher. I'm going to write it down in the description or maybe on the screen. Wishcraft by Barbara Sher. It's it's the one and only um practical and realistic book that I have seen, that I've read, that pertains or that regarding chasing your dream and how to do it. That it helps you figure out what is it that you like, what exactly you want to do, and not just that, how what's the first step that you need to start taking from, to like break it down to the simplest, smallest, littlest task that you can start doing from the next day, from tomorrow morning. And it's been helpful. If you can get the hard copy, it would be great. But I don't know if I can be able to find the hard copy here in Lubumbashi, in a French country. It's an English book. I don't know if it has a translation in French. So I just got the PDF version, and that's what I'm working with. Every now and then, I take the exercises. I have a book specifically made for witchcraft, where I take the exercises and help to break down my dreams and everything I want to do into simpler goals. You can get the book, it's going to be really, really helpful for you. And next thing you can also do, if you can't find the book, if you can't get the book, or if you want some additional instruction aside from the book, or you just want something you can start doing as of this moment is you can go to ChatGPT or AI, any one of the top AIs, and you know what your dream is. For example, I'm going to still take the example of the top guitarist, the guitar player, and all what. I can go to ChatGPT and tell it, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to become, this is my dream. Now I need you to help. I need you to break down the step. Like this is, you have to tell it your level. My level is either that I have a job but I'm saving up to buy a guitar. That's where I am right now. Or I have the guitar already. I just bought the guitar, but I don't know where to start. So I need you to help me break down the step by step. Like this, what am I supposed to do? What am I going to do? What do I have to start doing? I break down this whole big dream that seems like a mountain, break it down into just a pile of sand on the floor that you can start taking the step towards tomorrow or even right now. And it might not be perfect, but ChatGPT can help. It would list all the whole steps for you from beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Like I searched for it yesterday before making this video. I already have it. Like I recently watched a tutorial on YouTube and I found a person that actually went to the through the stress of writing, creating a step-by-step guide for people who just got their guitar from beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and even pro. And it's his step-by-step guide I'm currently using right now. First is learning how to hold the guitar, of course, and then there's strumming, there's speaking, and your posture is very important. And then there's skills. I started learning skills yesterday. Like if I didn't go through this through it step by step, I've already the past few weeks I've already jumped like doing chord progressions and all of that without actually learning this basic thing that as a beginner I should know. So I just went back to learning speaking single notes, scales, and all of that, and even learning how to tune guitar by ear. That's just things that I should know as a beginner. So if you don't already have a step-by-step guide on chasing your dreams, on doing whatever it is you want to do, you can go to ChatGPT for help. It will break down the step for you so that tomorrow or today you can start taking this little minor tad bit step towards making your dreams a reality. Now, maybe if you read through all the step by step, it could be overwhelming. Just focus on that one thing that you need to start doing as of today. And then when you're good at it, you move on to the next one step by step. And before you know it, and you look back and you see how far you've come. Motivation is great. Having people who believe in you, I believe in you, you can do this, you are awesome, you're amazing, it's great. But knowing the how to do it, what's the first step I should do, what the first step I should take, the second step, the third step, like knowing what you're supposed to do step by step and how you're going to do it helps a lot because it's one thing to be motivated, it's another thing to know what to do. Motivation without know how it will just fade away. It will just fade away within 24 hours and you're left alone wondering, yeah, I know I can do it, but I don't see how I can do it. I remember in one of my previous videos I was saying like I believe that I can do this, I believe that I can become this person that I want to be. But the problem is I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. And yeah, as you can see, 1 week or 2 weeks later, I think I have an idea of what I'm supposed to do step by step. I think I have an idea. Not sure, but I have an idea of what I'm supposed to do. It's not such an overwhelming big mountain, big task, reaching the moon for me. Like I can see it. I can see how I'm supposed to make this work. Compared to last 2 weeks or last 3 weeks that I just have this dream in my head, but I don't know how I'm supposed to make that work. So having the know-how having the know-how to make your dreams come true or at least get closer to your dreams brings it all the way from it's like traveling up to the mountain brings it lower to the level where you can see it, you can see how all these steps leads to the level you want to go. So that is that for today. That's something I wanted to talk about. I'm kind of working on a song right now. I've been working on the lyrics since yesterday. I got the first one. Like yesterday was the first time I came up with the lyrics, and a few minutes later I was able to rap. I was able to put the lyrics on a melody or put a melody on the lyrics and the rhythm, and I liked it. And the song is kind of moody. So yesterday I also went to ChatGPT asking what are the chord progressions I need for this kind of song, and it gave me A minor, E minor, G major, F major, and I think it was just four. Is this E minor or A major? Like the song goes very slow, and in between the verses, there's in between the phrases and the verse, there's a lot of music happening in the background, and then it leads up to the chorus where there's a lot of lyrics, and then back down to the song. Just that's the structure I have, but I'm still putting words to the lyrics to the melody I have. I've only been able to come up with the first verse and then the melody, and I got stuck on that. There's guitar, there's the lyrics, and then there's beats, and then back to the guitar, there's lyrics, there's beats. To the guitar, lyrics, beats, like four words, four phrases in for the verse, and then we're back. And then we move up to the chorus, and it just like it's continuous, and then we are back down. It's like we move up slow, and then we peak, and then we come down. That's like the idea of whatever it is I got yesterday. But I'm still working on that. Hopefully, I plan on releasing my first demo song by December this year. Wish me luck.